You're listening to Polished Woman, only on LA Talk Radio.
Yay! I just had chocolate.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh my gosh, Tamara, thank you for coming back.
I'm so happy to be
I
here.
love our didn't you love our episode last week?
Oh, holy smokes.
Oh my gosh. And I want to call her. You should come back and call her and see what happened to her like after maybe 6 months.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Polished Woman, part 2.
We are, Polished Woman. By the way, you are watching and listening to Polished Woman. You're like, what the heck are you talking about? Oh my God. They have
You're so
chocolate.
polished.
Anyway.
At least your teeth are.
I am. Okay, so today our topic will be, so last week we talked about
Cheating.
this wife that got cheated by her husband. And this weekend, this Monday, we're talking about women who actually cheated on their husband.
Yes.
And a lot, to tell you the truth, I don't want to say I kind of like heard of this, and some of them I know that they cheated on their husbands. And actually, there's a study nowadays that there are more women who are actually cheating from their husbands now, and not husband cheating from their husbands. So,
Right. I think that it has to do with being in the workplace, too.
you think
And
so?
them coming into power and positions
Yeah.
that,
And I think also I heard this from someone that, you feel like you need a Band-Aid to cover whatever, wound that you had or you have, and you look at, you try to find that from someone else.
Right. It's
So-
an outside-in process instead of an inside-out.
Instead of inside out. So generally, I just wanted my intro. Generally, when we think about the subject of cheating, we automatically assume that the man cheated on the woman. This isn't always the case. This isn't always the case though, as there are girlfriends who cheat on their boyfriends and wives who cheat on their husbands. Women cheating isn't new, but what it is the conversation that we're having about it, a conversation that's long overdue. Right now, we have a guest. Can I say your name? Hello? Sure.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Oh.
Yeah. Hey, Shirley.
Hey, Shirley.
Hi.
So, okay, she's actually this woman is very dear to me. She's one of my closest friends, and who've been there for me. We've been there for each other for like years and years. And she went through when I was manizing, because I call myself manizer when I was
Instead of a womanizer, she's a manizer.
When I was going through one man to the other, she was there with me, and she was going through an affair as well. Sure, can you tell us and Tamara on what happened? Why you did the whole cheating thing and stuff, and how
Goodness.
and
I
how
didn't know that the slant of this story will be on that. Okay, but anyway.
Yes. What
but hey, but
happened?
but she will tell us a good.
No, it's like this.
Yeah.
I got married very early. My
Yeah.
husband was my high school classmate,
Mm-hmm.
and so we got pregnant right away, and so we weren't ready for marriage, and so my husband was not ready for a serious raising a family and all of those things. So he started fooling around at 2 years of marriage.
Oh.
So I had no other recourse but to take on the burden of raising the family by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so my family life was in shambles. I was feeling sorry for myself for most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
He was happy with his friends, he's going out just like when he wasn't married yet. And we were
Yeah.
very young.
Yeah.
So my married life was pitiful. And
Yeah.
I thought that my marriage was a trap. It's a trap. It's not something that um, is a cause for celebration or anything like that. So I was lonely in that marriage,
Yeah.
and I come from a very conservative family, and you must understand that our culture frowns upon separation or divorce or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in that kind of relationship, and he would have one woman after another, and I would just cry myself to sleep, and then work myself to death.
Why didn't you leave,
That's how
Shirl? Why didn't
that's
you
how it
leave?
was with me. And then there's this friend of mine who was single and who appreciated me, and he said that if you weren't married, I would have asked you to marry me. And that changed my whole perspective about myself. I started looking at myself as someone who has value.
Oh,
So it was not uh, I wasn't looking for a man. I wasn't looking for love outside, maybe unconsciously. But then it happened, and I thought, oh, okay, maybe God gave me this man to ease me of all my pain. Because you must remember, uh,
yeah,
my husband started cheating at 2 years of marriage, and I think I met him when I was already 11 years married.
yeah,
And so that's how our relationship began, and we've become really good friends for years and years on end. When I say good friends, I mean just good friends. We just go out for lunch and sometimes dinner, and
yeah,
we just talk and talk and talk, no sex involved. And that
yeah,
went on for many many years. But
yeah,
then it is important that you first hear of our story, so you will have a better perspective on why I did what I did.
yeah.
So
Sure.
when when my husband um, fooled fooled around again, this
Mm-hmm.
other girl, that third woman,
Yeah.
started calling me up in the office and harassing me and telling me
Mm.
stories about my
Wow.
husband, pretending that she's just someone who cares about me. So when I found out for the third time that he's fooling around again, that's when I decided that we should physically separate. I mean, I told him to just go abroad. I mean, live abroad.
Yeah.
And he agreed because this time the girl was saying that she has a child by him. So that's different, and I was
Ooh.
really, really hurt.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
so I thought
Mhm.
him going away will spare us of the ugly details of having to tell everyone in my family or our children that we are separating. And so he
Right.
left for the States. When he left for the States, that's when I had a full-blown affair with this guy. That's how my story went.
But did the girl go with him to the States?
No, they separated. The reason why this girl was saying all those things about him was because he separated from her.
Oh,
He
okay.
broke off with
Wow.
her.
Wow.
And but I don't care about all that. I was so hurt, and
Sure.
to me that was maybe the end of it. But
Sure.
he left for the States, and I I became single in my
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
So I lived that counterfeit life, thinking that, oh, okay, my husband is such a jerk. Now I can live my life the way I want to. Because when he was here, all i- in being married to him is just enduring and suffering from all of those infidelities, and how unfair it was, because I
Yeah.
was the one
Yeah.
raising the children, and
Sure.
but that was life for me then.
Yeah. But
And
Tamara, she has a very good ending. That's why I invited her here because I want because I know a lot of women out there they're starting with the affair and
Yeah.
everything. And the reason why I invited,
yeah, for whatever reason it is,
yeah.
because women cheat for different reasons.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think most of women who cheat is because they don't feel loved, and they
Mm-hmm.
don't feel nurtured,
Yes.
or their husbands are just plain, you know, um, bad men.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. And you
That's
know,
so true.
my
That's so
goodness,
true.
Shirley, you really tapped into one of the biggest reasons that cheating takes place in relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Number one reason why is that we have lost our ability to praise, to appreciate, to cherish, and to respect each other. When those
Yeah.
ingredients are missing. It's like having a beautiful plant. You start out, it's lush, it's green. And when you quit watering that plant, Jessica, what is going to naturally happen is it's going to shrivel up and it's going to die. And it's interesting because you can even have people that have been together for years and years and years, and you look to, well, how is it that a man would cheat on his wife that he's had forever? And one of the things that has notoriously always come up, it's not because she's younger, it's because she has the ability to still admire him and to praise him. This is a natural yearning of our men, and a natural yearning of women is to be appreciated and to be cherished. And when that isn't watered, when that isn't nurtured, and somebody from outside is giving you those things you yearn for, it's interesting. They asked a woman, they said, this couple had been together for a long time and this man had cheated on her. And they said, what's preventing you from praising your man? And she said, praise him? I made him.
Oh, really?
Right? So, somehow, some way, there's this entitlement, right? That when you've been together with someone for so long, no, we just can never forget, never take for granted the gift we have in a relationship of marriage, that they are priceless human beings. Because if we forget, guess what, ladies, and guess what, men, somebody else is going to remember.
Yes.
They're going to remember, and they're going to look at her and say,
I know.
and you're going to look at him and go, tell me some more, baby. Tell me some more.
In the psychology of men and women, they say that the greatest need of a man is to be respected.
Yes.
So when he doesn't feel that the wife respects him or the girlfriend respects him, then that's the time they feel that, okay, I'll start looking for someone who would respect me.
Yes.
And a woman, the greatest need is to be loved and secure, to be secure in that love. So when you don't feel that you are loved and that you don't feel secure in that love, then you start looking for someone who could give you that.
And here's an even deeper layer to that.
It's different for both men and women.
Yeah, that's true. I actually believe that.
It's important to understand those needs.
And there's an even deeper layer, Jessica, because really looking for someone else, that's still really an outside-in job, when really what this can be is an inside-out job. So if you're needing the respect that you're yearning for, it's going to be primary that you find a way to give that to yourself, that you do the things that give you the esteem that you're looking for, because it's always going to be conditional outside of you, but it doesn't ever have to be internally. If you're ever in need of that cherishing or that love, one of the best things that we can do as women is to go, I love you, girlfriend. Give yourself a wink in the mirror and go, let's go take a bubble bath, right? You get you a bubble bath, you light you some candles, you do a little retail therapy, whatever, whatever it takes. You get with your girlfriends, right? And you say, oh, girl, I got this going on, I got this going down. You get with some of your best friends. I know one of my best friends that I've had years ago with Max Tucci was so precious because we get on the radio every Sunday night, and I tell you what, there was a connection that went so deep, that was just priceless. And boy, just a little dose of those little moments that you have with dear friends can last a lifetime. And really our relationship with our Father or with our God or with our Creator, oh, imagine being able to tap into that source. I mean, then you've got a stream that doesn't ever run out.
I know.
It's like going to the ocean with a few little teaspoons when you're expecting it from someone else. But boy, when you want that whole ocean, you go in there with buckets with God, and God is just, He could shower you.
So the reason why I invited Shirley here is this is like, it's really faith. Faith will change everything. And she has, she has a very, very happy ending.
Ooh,
okay,
tell
Cheryl,
us.
tell us.
That's right.
What happened?
Yeah, because Jessica here, she played a really, really major part in my transformation,
Nah.
spiritual transformation, that
Yeah.
is. So, uh, my husband and I have been separated for a long time. And then when 9/11 happened, remember 9/11?
Yeah.
He decided to come back to home in our country. And he called me up and he said that maybe I would take the chance again with him. And
Wow.
so I thought,
And this is after
because
years, okay,
How
of
many
being
years are we
separated.
talking?
How many years, Cheryl?
not long, not long,
Okay.
2 years.
Okay,
2 years, still.
2 years,
Whoa.
Cheryl.
2
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So in that 2 years, I remember I told you I was living a double life. I
Mm.
would
Right.
be a single girl when I get out of the house, but then I would come back at night and I'm the mother of these children, and I was thinking to myself, if if I can just be a good mother, then it's okay to be a bad wife. But all
Okay.
along,
Mm.
I feel guilty. I know
Mm.
that I wasn't doing right by God because I'm carrying on an affair with this man
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
while married, because I was technically still married, although we are physically apart.
Mm.
So I had that always in my conscience that I was doing wrong. So when my husband called me and told me that he would come back and that if I would consider having him back again, I thought to myself, this is the right thing to do, to
Mm.
accept him back, because I was sort of pitying him because he hasn't seen the children. Was very close to our kids,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that being away for 2 years was enough for him to
Mm.
suffer. But maybe
Yeah.
because I still love him, I don't know. I wasn't thinking
Mm.
about that during that time.
Mm-hmm.
So he came back. I broke it up with the guy, and he
Mm-hmm.
came back. But the thing is, he became a monster when my I had friends who talked to him and told him about what I did when he was away.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
I
that
remember that.
changed him
Wow.
completely, and
Yeah.
he became really, really bad. He would fight with me, and he would be violent, throw everything, and
Mm.
he, he would call me all sorts of names, and
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't swallow them.
Mm.
And it was really, really, really bad. And I
Wow.
couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't run to my parents or my
Mm.
family, because I don't want to tell them that, hey, I messed up. I had an affair. That's why this is happening to me.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not like I couldn't go anywhere. I
Mm-hmm.
think, and then my husband said, I will never stop bullying you or harassing you, and not until our
Mm.
marriage has been annulled,
Well,
Yeah.
it
because there's
sounds
no
like
divorce here.
he
Wow.
had amnesia about his
I know.
affairs. Hello.
I know, right?
It's like,
What
what?
happened to his
Well,
affair?
it's a
What?
man thing.
Yeah.
It's a man thing that
Yeah.
sometimes it's double standard, that,
Wow.
men can cheat and women cannot, or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
But,
Wow.
I just really wanted everything to be over. So I consulted a lawyer, and that was, I remember that date very well, Jessica.
Yeah.
That's December 6th, 2013.
Mm.
Yeah.
So 2003, sorry. December 6th, 2003.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So I consulted a lawyer, and then I told the lawyer about everything that happened. And the lawyer said, you cannot file for annulment because you're so scared of your husband. Because I was really scared shitless, because
Mm.
Yeah.
he could be violent, and I'm not a
Wow.
violent person. I don't like that.
Oh
So
Yeah.
I would
my.
just, suffer in silence and cry, and
Mm.
you know just like that, and I wouldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So when the lawyer told me that I can't file for annulment because he could go berserk and he might even get my children away from me,
Yes.
and
Mm.
when she said that, that's when I said to myself, my life will be like this until the day I die. I will just be scared of him. I will just suffer.
Mm-hmm.
This is it. So after that lawyer's appointment, I had a meeting with Jessica, because we were supposed to do some publicity work for something. We
Mm-hmm.
were,
Mm.
I don't know, Jessica, I don't remember anymore.
Yeah.
And I think she noticed that I was really sad, and then she asked me, "Are you okay?" And I told her, "I'm sorry, I'm not okay." But I didn't
Mm.
give her the
Any
details of it.
details? Yeah.
And then she said, "Why don't you come with us to dinner tonight?" because that was I think around 5 o'clock
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the afternoon.
yeah.
And then he said, just come with us to dinner. And I said, no, I don't like. I just go home. And then I
Mm.
realized if I come home, my husband would show up unannounced,
Yeah,
and then he would harass me again.
yeah.
And then so I said, oh, okay, so this dinner, he doesn't know about it. So I could go with Jessica, and
Mm-hmm.
he may wonder where I am, but he wouldn't find me. So
Yeah.
I said, okay. And then Jessica said, this is a Bible study, by the way. And then I said,
Mm.
oh, I don't read the Bible, and I don't
Wow.
want to go there.
I know.
I don't read the Bible.
She
I
like
don't even
wanted to
own a
leave
Bible.
out.
She's like, oh, what?
No.
And then she said,
Yeah.
that's okay. You just come with me, and then you just
Yeah.
listen to the pastor, and then you can just sit there. If you have questions, you can ask. If you don't have questions, you just sit there.
Mm-hmm.
That's very, very convenient. So I said, okay. And then they made me ride with them. I left my car there.
Yeah.
I rode with them. I remember how traffic was horrendous that day, Jessica. I felt
Yeah.
it. We traveled for
Wow.
2 hours just to get there.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
So,
know.
long story short, the lesson that night from the pastor was about marriage.
Yeah.
I was crying.
Isn't it
I was
crazy?
really bawling,
She was like
sobbing
crying
from
and
start to
bawling.
Wow.
and you know, I don't remember exactly the verses, but I remember the lesson that night. I went home that night, and I was replaying in my head everything that was said about marriage. They said, the pastor said, marriage is designed by God,
Yeah.
and God doesn't want husbands and wives to separate.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
trials, there are tests and trials, they come to us in marriage. But these testings are only meant to show us who God is in our life. That if
Mm.
are we going to obey Him in His word, or are we going to obey ourselves, our logical
Wow.
reasoning, our self-preservation? Is that more important to us, or is it the word of God that we would hold on to? Because definitely in His word, He said He doesn't want marriages to go to waste. He doesn't want
Mm.
husband and wife to
Mm.
That's why I'm
separate.
very pro marriage.
Wow, me too. You know what you're
So
describing?
that was what the pastor was saying. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I had balloon thoughts in my head.
Sure.
Mhm.
Oh, you're only saying that because you don't know my husband. But remember, I wasn't speaking. I wasn't talking. I wasn't
Right.
asking any questions. All of these things are just in my head.
Sure.
And then I asked and I was even thinking, how come if God doesn't want husbands and wife to separate, how come He allows me to fall in love with another guy? That was in my
Yeah.
head.
Mm.
And then the pastor suddenly said, sometimes God uses our feelings to test our faith, because
Mm.
sometimes we think that our feelings are the be all and end all, but it's not. They are used to test our faith, if we are going to
Mm.
follow our feelings, or are we following God.
Yeah.
Wow,
So
that is so
those are the
beautiful.
thoughts that were running through my head when I came home that night.
And
Wow.
But
Shirley,
I
you know what?
remember also
You know what's
that He
beautiful?
said that even if you think that you have messed up
Yeah.
Mhm.
really, really
Right.
huge,
Yeah.
but God is a God of forgiveness. So
Yes.
you can ask Him, go to Him, and in all earnest
Mm.
and honest
Mm.
repentance, you can come to Him and ask for His forgiveness, and He will forgive you.
Yes.
And you know what's so
That's how it
beautiful
is. So that's what I did when I
about
came
what
home
you're
that night.
saying? That I
I
mean,
prayed.
Shirley, this is so amazing what you're talking about, because what you're talking about is being responsible for the kingdom of heaven that is within. And God is so amazingly
Mhm.
patient in the way He waits for us to open the door.
That's right.
And He'll
Yeah.
come into
That's
that
right.
barren land that's like a desert and dry
Mhm.
dirt. And He'll
Mhm.
come in and He'll quench it with living waters that bring about a lush and a green and a beauty that we could have never imagined before. And when we take responsibility
Yes.
for opening that door, then those people that we allow to come back into our hearts
Mhm.
will bring life back to us as
Yeah.
well. So thank you for
That's
taking
right.
responsibility for you.
So,
Yeah.
sure. Thank you so much. So, I mean, for women, ladies out there who's watching and maybe, having an affair or think twice and, and if someone cheated or wife cheated, husband cheated, work out your marriage.
Yes.
Right? Work it out. Don't just like look at Shirley and
Right.
like 2
But
years.
Right.
can I just say that
Yeah.
if I did it in my own strength, I wouldn't be able to do
Right.
it because the
That's true.
complications of our relationship was just immense.
Right.
Yes.
So you really need God. You need
Yes.
the supernatural strength to do it because you have to have faith, and
Yes.
that's what faith gives you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So,
amazing.
Don't do it on your own strength. You
Yeah.
rely on the Lord. You
And-
get to know the Lord.
And
Yeah.
I think that God in his mercy allows us to remember the innocence
That's right.
that's in all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just doing what we're doing because that's what we're doing.
I know.
Right?
I know.
Any given moment.
And
I mean,
and
that's
Shirley now she travels all over just to share her testimony.
wow.
That's right.
That's
My
incredible.
husband and I. So we were restored, and we were restored fully because
Wow.
of this relationship
That's-
with God.
Wow, thank
That
you for
started
that.
it. That Bible study.
Yeah,
study
Shirley,
that Jessica brought me to.
that is
started.
that is a breath of fresh air, and we just want to
Yeah.
thank you so much for being on.
Thank you so
LA
much,
Talk Radio.
Cheryl. Thank you for sharing your testimony.
Yeah.
And she's
Thank you.
out there. She she's out there and she's really sharing. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Cheryl.
Appreciate
Thank
you.
Thank
I
you for
really
having
appreciate.
me.
I love you and I miss you.
Bye-bye.
I'll call
love
you
you
later.
too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Wow.
That is, and she's
Jessica.
very brave to even
Yes.
get out, there, starting, inspiring people and just
And you know
telling
what?
her testimony.
That is a powerful woman.
very, yeah,
Powerful woman
is.
of self-responsibility.
yeah.
You know, even in light of betrayal,
Mm-hmm.
in light of her own betrayal,
Yes,
she could see it full circle,
I know.
all the way around, yet
Yeah.
return to her own innocence.
Yes,
And when she did that, she could see the innocence of everyone around her, including her children. And therefore, she no longer needed to keep them outside of the circle of forgiveness.
know.
She could invite them back in, and she single-handedly
I know.
brought her family, back
family
together.
back.
So,
So
wow.
what is your advice, Tamara, for women out
Mm.
there who are in this,
Yes.
particular situation?
Oh, my
Or
goodness.
going through, who
Yes.
are about to cheat. There's a lot,
Yes.
because they feel the emptiness, the being
Right.
unloved by
Right.
by their husbands, or
Right.
being ignored, or just what do you, and they're about to
Yes.
do it,
Yes.
or to people to ladies who are about to do it and who are into the whole
Yes.
cheating.
And you know what? That's such a beautiful question, Jessica, because really we're always at that fork in the road.
Yes.
Right? We always have two different paths to take. And it's really where we align our thoughts. And if we can remember always that everything is happening for us, it's happening for our evolution, it's happening for our character development, it's happening to become who we are. I mean,
Yes.
Jessica, you've been betrayed, you've been hurt,
Oh.
and yet look at Jessica right now. Polished woman on LA Talk Radio. Okay, that wouldn't have happened had it not been the other. Okay,
Yeah.
look at me.
You
Just
wouldn't be there.
pretty sure
Yeah.
about the way I'm going,
Yeah.
and then my husband decides he's going to do what he does. I end
Yes.
up being an amazing human sexuality professor,
Yes.
a speaker all over the world, someone
Wow.
with the most amazing husband that we're constantly evolving with together,
Yes.
working our own stuff out. That's a whole set of other,
Yes.
wonderful lessons that we get to move through together.
Yes.
And who we get to meet and be a part of. I wouldn't be sitting here with you, Jessica, had my husband not done
know.
what he did. I wouldn't have been sitting with Max Tucci
Yeah.
on a weekly show
Yeah.
for 2 years had my husband
Wow.
not betrayed me. I wouldn't have ventured out there. There's something to be said that imagine if everything is actually happening for you and that God is really good.
My
He's
God.
really
He's
good.
really good.
No matter what the circumstance appears to be. And know that a mosaic is far more valuable than a solid piece of crystal. And that's because when the light
Love
hits
that
it,
mosaic.
the prism of light is like a rainbow. it's not just a flat color, it's a rainbow of colors. Because of the brokenness, you're more beautiful than you ever would have been.
Wow, that is
love you.
amazing. I want to be funny for a while. Can I just have her voice? I think my husband would love that. He wouldn't want to have sex with me every day. If babe. Okay, cheating can be, but it doesn't have to be the end of relationship. Whatever it is that you and your family ultimately decide to do after an affair, make sure that it's a decision that takes in account the health and happiness of both of you. So, and for me, you know, if you can, as much as you can, save your marriage. But I think it's really fate that will save it. It's not you, it's not your husband, it's not your children, but it's your fate. So,
Absolutely.
this wraps up.
Yeah.
I want to talk like her. I always have to be funny. This wraps up our episode for today.
LA Talk Radio.
I love that whole mistake. Thank
Love
you
you very
so much. I love you. Oh my gosh,
Love you,
she's so
sweetheart.
good. I
She's
love
so
it. I feel
good.
like I have therapy talking to her.
Awesome. It's anointing.
Yeah, I
anointment.
know. Bye, and give love to the
Bye.
first person you see after watching this episode. Give
Hug
love.
yourself.
Bye.
Wink at yourself in the mirror.
You're listening to Polished
love her
Woman,
voice.
only on LA Talk Radio.
I have to say it. I have to say it.
And you sound so sexy.